Welcome back, children. In our last class, we had done two important components of the blood vascular system or the blood transport system in human beings. First one was blood. We have learned its composition, its functions. We have done the blood vessels, arteries, veins, and capillaries. And now, today, we will be learning about the third and very important component of the blood transport system or the blood circulatory system, that is the human heart. Children, this heart is no ordinary organ. It is the most amazing pump which is present in your body, because of which blood is continuously flowing in your body. It does not remain stagnant. Okay, and it is because of the fluidity and flowing nature of the blood within the blood vessels that transport of substances within the body can be accomplished. Right? So, the human heart has to be learnt in detail, and this is a very important question as far as the exam point of view is concerned. You can expect the diagrammatic representation of the internal structure of the heart and the working of the heart as a very important question which is generally asked in the board exams. So let us begin, children. Human heart. This human heart is located in between the two lungs in the chest cavity or the thoracic cavity of the body. You know, children, the thoracic cavity is made up of the bones of the rib cage, and so the protection is given to the heart as well as the lungs by the bones of the rib cage. Okay, the heart is of the size of an adult human fist, and it is made up of very unique muscles which are called cardiac muscles. So you can say heart is a cardiomuscular organ, and these muscles are characterized by undergoing rhythmic contraction and relaxation without getting fatigued or without taking rest. Children, isn't it so fascinating? From the time an organism is born till the organism dies, the heart never stops working. The heart never stops beating. Be it any activity, whether you're sleeping or doing work, the heart is continuously pumping blood in your body, right? So let us learn about this amazing organ, and my focus today in the lecture will be explaining the internal structure of the heart. Children, let us see the diagram and understand this. This is the diagrammatic representation showing the internal structure of the heart. It is quite a simplified diagram which I have drawn for you to understand, because in your book there is the 3D diagram which you might not be able to understand. So for simplifying things, I have drawn this diagram. Please have a closer look and understand. If you see the human heart, it has a broader end on the top and the narrow end beneath. Okay, and the entire heart is divided into 4 chambers: 1, 2, 3 and 4. The upper 2 chambers are called atria or auricles, and the lower 2 chambers are called ventricles. Now, children, the most amazing part of the human heart is that the heart is divided longitudinally into left heart and right heart. You can see this dark septum running in the center part of the heart. This septum actually divides the heart into left heart and right heart. How to remember which is the left part and right heart? Your right hand is the left side of the heart, and your left hand is the right side of the heart. You have to remember this while drawing the diagram. That is, this side, which is your right hand, will be the left side of the heart, and always remember the narrow end of the heart will point towards the left hand side. Now, you can see several other structures which are associated with the heart. As I had stated earlier, that this entire heart is made up of cardiac muscles which have the ability of rhythmic contraction and relaxation without getting fatigued, and it is only the heart in the human body which is made up of cardiac muscles. That is why doctors treating heart problems are also called cardiologists, right? Now, the upper two chambers are atria. Since this is the left side of the heart, this is the left atrium, this is the right atrium. These two chambers are ventricles. This is the left ventricle and this is the right ventricle. The left auricle and the left ventricle has a separating valve in between. This valve which connects the left atrium and the left ventricle is the bicuspid valve. On the right hand side you can see a valve which is present between the right atrium and the right ventricle. This valve is called the tricuspid valve. You can see this is the tricuspid valve and this is the bicuspid valve. Okay, now you can also see there are tubular structures entering the heart and leaving the heart. These tubular structures are the blood vessels which will bring blood into the heart and which will take away blood from the heart. Obviously, we have learnt in the last class that arteries are the blood vessels which will take blood from the heart to different body parts. So these two blood vessels which are leaving the heart necessarily are arteries, whereas those which are entering the heart are coming from other body parts, and those blood vessels which bring blood from other body parts to the heart are veins. So both of them are veins. Okay, so let us see what is the working of the heart and what are the other structures associated with the heart. Children, you can see that the left part of the heart I have shaded red in color and the right part I have shaded blue in color. This is just for an indication for you to understand that the left part of the heart carries oxygenated blood, whereas the right part of the heart carries deoxygenated blood, that is rich in carbon dioxide. Obviously, if it is oxygenated blood, it means oxygen is added into the lungs. So this blood, oxygenated blood, is coming from the lungs into the left part of the heart. It is then sent to the body. Deoxygenated blood is collected from the body and it is again sent back to the lungs so that CO2 can be exhaled out of the lungs. So children, before we learn the working of the heart and the circulation of the heart, you are first supposed to learn the internal structure, where I have discussed that it comprises of 4 chambers, upper 2 auricles, lower 2 ventricles. Let us see which are the blood vessels associated. The blood vessel that enters the left auricle is the pulmonary vein, the exceptional vein which carries oxygenated blood. The blood vessel that carries blood away from the heart from the left side is the main artery aorta, which carries the oxygenated blood to different parts of the body. Now see this blood vessel which is entering the right atrium. This is the main vein, vena cava, which brings deoxygenated blood from the body into the heart. And this blood vessel which is leaving the right side of the heart is the pulmonary artery, which is the exceptional artery that carries deoxygenated blood. I told you children last time that arteries generally carry oxygenated blood. So this is the exceptional artery which carries deoxygenated blood. Veins generally carry deoxygenated blood. This is the exceptional vein coming from the lungs which is bringing oxygenated blood. So there are 4 main blood vessels associated with the heart. There are 4 chambers. The valves separating the left auricle and left ventricle bicuspid valve. This is the tricuspid. What is the function of these valves, children, which are present? When blood enters into the auricles and then enters into the ventricles, it passes through these valves. Once it passes through to the ventricles, the blood cannot move back, because once the blood from the auricles enters into the ventricles, this is a unidirectional valve. Both the valves are unidirectional. They will close so that once the blood has come down into the ventricle, it has to leave the heart. It cannot go back into the auricle. So to prevent the backflow of blood from the ventricles to the auricles, we have these flaps which are called the valves, separating the auricles and the ventricles. This septum that you have seen separates the left heart and the right heart. And what is the unique function of this septum? It is because of this segregation or septum or a barrier that oxygenated blood does not mix with the deoxygenated blood even within the heart. Now, why can we not afford mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood? Children, all of you know that human beings and other mammals are warm-blooded animals. We have learned this in class 9. Warm-blooded refers to an animal where that particular animal has a constant body temperature. We cannot modify our body temperature according to the temperature of the environment, right? So, for maintaining a constant body temperature, we need more energy, and for more energy, we need an efficient supply of oxygen. If oxygen is not supplied properly and efficiently, our energy requirements will not be fulfilled. So, for efficient supply, we have a provision that the mixing of blood does not take place. Oxygenated blood travels separately and deoxygenated blood travels separately. This can be true for cold-blooded animals where they can change their body temperature according to the environment. For such animals like frogs, fishes and other amphibians which are cold-blooded, mixing of blood can be afforded, and because of that, their energy requirements are easily fulfilled even if mixing of blood is there. So see how beautifully our heart is designed, that there is no mixing of blood. We have 4 chambers, and within the same organ there is no mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Now in my next class I will teach you the circulation in the heart, how blood is circulated, how the chambers are working, how it will pump blood to various parts and collect blood from various parts. So for today, children, this much is enough. I will be giving you a set of questions regarding whatever I have taught you in the lecture. You will be easily able to answer. Try to answer those questions in your copy. So for today, this much is enough. Let us just recapitulate in the PowerPoint. Heart is a cardiomuscular organ made up of cardiac muscles roughly of the size of the human fist, and it is located in between the 2 lungs in the thoracic cavity. It is protected by a membranous sac called pericardium. Children, pericardium I just forgot to mention here. This sac covering the heart, okay, the membranous sac which covers the heart is called pericardium, which protects the heart from mechanical shocks and injuries. Okay, now there are 4 chambers in the heart, as we have already said, and heart is acting as a natural pump which pumps blood continuously into the blood vessels, accomplishing transportation. And I had explained to you that the narrow end of the heart points towards the left hand side. The main parts of the human heart mainly include the heart chambers, that is the auricles and ventricles, the valves. Atrioventricular valves means the valve separating atria and ventricles, and the blood vessels associated with the heart. Okay, the heart chambers, upper 2 are auricles or atria, lower 2 are ventricles. The valves separating left auricle and left ventricle is the bicuspid valve, and tricuspid valve separates the right auricle and the right ventricle. The blood vessels which are associated with the heart are the pulmonary vein, which comes into the left atrium bringing oxygenated blood from the lungs, aorta which takes the oxygenated blood to the body, vena cava which carries deoxygenated blood from the body to the right part of the heart, pulmonary artery which carries the deoxygenated blood from the heart to the body. Okay, now children, one important topic I want to explain here. What is heartbeat and pulse rate? Okay, heartbeat refers to contraction and relaxation of all the four chambers of the heart. Okay, that is referred to as one heartbeat. One rhythmic contraction and relaxation of all the four chambers of the heart is called heartbeat. Then, what is pulse rate? Pulse rate refers to the number of times the heart beats in 1 minute is called pulse rate. Okay, in 1 minute our heart beats 70 to 72 times. This is called the normal pulse rate. Okay, the last topic, why is it necessary to separate oxygenated and deoxygenated blood in mammals and warm-blooded animals? As I stated earlier, that warm-blooded animals, we cannot change our body temperature according to the environment. So we have a four-chambered heart. We cannot afford mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. And since we are warm-blooded, we need more energy to maintain a constant body temperature, for which we need an efficient supply of oxygen, and we have a septum in the heart which does not allow mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, which can be affordable in cold-blooded animals. So this much is enough for today. Okay children, thank you and have a nice day.